Bring your knees to the outer edges of your mat and toe mounds to touch behind you. Extend the fingers forward and start to try to nestle the abdomen in between the thighs, getting yourself a little bit more space at the sit bones. Draw back, and activity moves into the fingertips, into the forearms. So even if the forearms are on the ground, make sure that they're active and they're connected, right? Span the fingers a little wide, feeling the energetic flow from the elongation of the spine. Tops of your feet rooting down, the top ankles lengthening as well, so you feel the whole shin becoming grounded. Thighs, creases hugging back, and then massage your forehead left to right. Take it nice and slow, coming into your body, landing here and now onto your mat. On a beautiful day outside, you may feel the wind caress your skin. Really feeling alive and grateful, gratitude into your breath, gratitude into the oxygen that the blood fluid in your body is providing. Continue into child's pose. Connecting to your Ujjayi breath. Inhale deeply and exhale with a slight constriction in the back of your nose throat. So this is like the sound of the wind, the sound of the ocean wind. Now take the right arm and rotate it under and draw it all the way towards the sacrum. And you can bring the left ear towards the mat. So the left hand is engaged. Start to externally rotate that right upper arm bone back, opening up the left chest, the collarbone, upper chest area. Legs are active, creating stability. Right hand roots down. Then internally rotate the left arm behind you, creating a bind with the top hand wherever it reaches. Sometimes you can take the fingertips all the way across towards the right thigh. And now externally rotate once you have this bind into the left shoulder. Feel the collarbone smiling and opening here. The right ear and skull is lengthening onto the mat. So it's not like a hard press, but just enough to bring mindfulness into parts of your body. Not like just it's dangling. It's all about ease and stability and balance, equanimity into your body, into your practice. And just feel the flow of the breath. So can you bring equanimity throughout the practice of your breath, from pose to pose and then the transitions in between. Again, straighten the arms and lengthen. Hug the shoulder heads and blades back and down into this torso, to the upper rib cage. And maybe there's a broadening between the shoulder blades, a lengthening and widening. Almost like it's shrink wrapped onto the rib cage. And let the breath be the meditative force of your practice. And slowly lifting the crown, the gaze up, the torso, and activity in the feet and the hands. You're going to move into tabletop. Bring the hips above the knees and shoulders above the wrist, and draw the heels up one at a time towards the sit bones. And then lift the sit bones up with the straight ankles, giving yourself a nice shin stretch, ankle foot stretch. And then slowly lower back down. So we're kind of rounding the spine and rounding the upper back. Curl the toes under this time, covering the knees. Really feel engaged straighten the right leg and then lift it up into three-legged dog. See if you can balance the shoulders with the hips. It's okay if it drops, but you want to try to, in space, and slowly draw the right knee back down. Slowly. Keeping stability. Maybe the knees don't touch. Lift the left leg extended back in the three-legged plank. And then lift the left heel back into space. Try to square the hips and the shoulders, keeping equanimity and balance in your stability. Then lifting the right heel up, we're going to hover the knees off the mat and then lower it back down. Move into a cow pose, inhale, and an exhale, rounding the back. Inhale, and it's okay if it's backwards. If you're breathing inhale when you're rounding the back, sometimes it expands the back ribs. So it's about what's the intent of the pose. Inhale, open the heart, gaze to the left heel, inhale neutral. Exhale, gaze to the right. It's kind of wagging the tail like a dog, and try to resist from the opposite hip. So as you exhale and gaze to the right, engage the left hip as adduction. Inhale, gaze to the left heel. Inhale neutral. Exhale to the left heel. Now press up into downward facing dog. So lift the fingers off the mat and feel the palms create like little arches in the hands. Rooting down to the base palm knuckles. And then slowly release the fingertips back down. Pressing the heels. Feel the outer heels press down as the inner arches lift up. Outer ankles hug in. Lengthening the neck, be a yes, shake your head yes for possibility in this practice, right? Notice if the left hip is sinking, try to lift up through the sit bones, lengthening the lower back, back knees straight, good, and it's okay to have a slight bend in your knees. You know, it's really where are you working in your practice. And then slowly, one by one, walk the hands to the back of the mat. Grab opposite elbows. Shaking your head, yes. Feeling the spine dangle out of the hips. Kind of like pouring out like a waterfall. Legs are stable like the rocks, and the upper body is fluid like the water. Left hand bends 90 degrees onto the right shin, right hand spider fingers. And this kind of gives you a little twist into the Uttanasana fold. Right hand opens and your gaze can follow it only if it's available. We're twisting from the thoracic spine as the right hand comes across, switch sides. Left hand spider fingers out wide. As the left hand rises up, the gaze can follow. Bring the hands back to your mat. Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward. Bring the hands into the back ankles. Press the calves, the outer calves in as you lift. Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Or half fold. Just feel the crown lengthening, the core active, knitting the ribs together. So you're feeling the Uddiyana bandhas activate. Inhale, Ujjayi breath, exhale. So we're creating this core strengthening. Bend the knees into a power chair. Lift the arms up, active. Some people like to bring the toe mounts to touch. And sink all the way down to bum to hover. Lift back up, forward fold. Walk the hands with stability forward into your plank pose. And lift the right heel up. So rock back and forth activating the legs and the core and the chest and the shoulders. Good. Lift the left foot up for 3-leg plank. Chaturanga, Sphinx pose. Go ahead and draw the elbows towards the heels, widen the finger pads, and then kind of pull the thumbs apart as the elbows hug together. Upper shoulder heads hug back, press into the mat all the way back down into downward facing dog. Step the right foot and then the left foot forward, fold, hands to the back ankles. Chair pose. Sit deep into your chair. Thighs active as if you're squeezing blocks. Internally rotate the thighs. Lift the 10 toes and really feel the 4 corners of the feet root down as the inner arches rise up. Inhale, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands to your mat, step back. Chaturanga, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So externally rotate the shoulders. Lift the heel, step the left foot forward this time first. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale. Chair pose. Rise up into mountain pose. Extend it upward, slight back bend. Exhale. Fold forward. Ardha Uttanasana. Hands root down, step back, right leg first. Chaturanga, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Bring your feet a little wider than normal and draw the right hand out to the outside calf or ankle, wherever it reaches, for a little twist. Try to keep the right hip from hiking down if you can. Right hand comes back, lift the left hand up and twist. So one side may be totally different than the other, different experience. Gaze underneath the underarm. Bring the feet back together, step the right foot forward and then the left foot forward, fold. Chair pose. So really notice that the ankles pronate inwards. Try to lift the inner arches as you root down the inner heels and the toe mounts. Press the big toe mounts down as the hands engage. Externally rotate the shoulders. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Gaze right into the front of your mat. Hands step back. Jump back if it's available. Upward facing dog, inhale. And downward facing dog. So where can you soften? Where can you engage? Notice if something is always gripping, right? See if you can balance the posture. Maybe it's left side to right side. Right heel lifts up, 3-legged dog. Step forward, warrior one. Bring the hands to your hips. Draw the legs straight for a moment. Then slowly bring the knee over the ankle. Externally rotating that front thigh. Like really get deep and down into a warrior one, right? Knife edge of the back foot roots, but feel that internal rotation of that back leg, right? The inner thigh crease wraps around and lean forward with the fingertips and the torso in this linear plane from the hands down to the back foot. And circle sweep the hands behind you, interlace the hands, good. So you're hinging forward, when the right hip hugs back and the torso lengthens. So giving you some space for the torso to fit in between that front thigh. Hands come forward, root the hands down to the mat, low lunge, step the foot back, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. So we're working this a little slower than maybe a power class, right? Give yourself time to really be engaged in a pose and really activate bringing equanimity and breath into the pose. And lift the left leg up, 3-legged dog, step it forward, rise up into warrior one. It's okay if you want to straighten out the front leg a little bit. Externally rotating the front thigh, lift the front toes up, and draw the knee right over the ankle. Really getting deep into the external rotation of the front leg. Knife edge of the back leg roots down. And sink the tailbone straight down as you soften the front ribs down and lengthening the back ribs up. Back thighs internally rotating as you hinge forward into that linear line from the fingertips to the back knife edge foot. It's almost like a hood ornament on a car, I like to say that. And you can really feel the exchange from the fingertips to the heel. Sweep the arm behind you, interlace the hands, keeping the core engaged, active. You're creating space for the torso to fit inside nicely between the front thigh. Chaturanga, high plank, low plank. Upward facing dog, inhale with a smile, and downward facing dog. Readjust your hands to feel firm and balanced in the posture. Like, how balanced can your downward facing dog be? Between the weight distributed between the hands and the feet. Bend your knees, step, hop, jump to the front of your mat. Forward fold, hands to back ankles. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And fold. Chair pose. Rise up. Feel the bandhas active from the Mula Bandha, Jalandhara Bandha, power chair. Sit down a little deeper and sit onto your seat in Navasana, boat pose. Bring the legs out wide, play around a little bit, right? What is your boat today? You can always self-assist that internal rotation of the legs. Fingertips active, toes active, core active, smile active. Bring the ankles together, glue them, rock and roll one time, see if you can hop onto your feet. Yeah, chair pose is wonderful. Forward fold, halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. If you can lengthen the neck and jump back into, from a crow, you can jump back into plank. Upward facing dog, inhale. Downward facing dog. Right heel rises up, step it forward, warrior one. Hips parallel to the front of your mat. Lift up into warrior three pose. Move from warrior three into airplane, which is just hands by your sides. Extend the hands down to the ground. And a little bit of scissor kicks. Maybe you're just kicking it up. If you get a little airtime, great. Bring the left hand to the back ankle. You can wrap the right hand around it as well if you need stability, just depending upon where you are. Rise back up into warrior three and then lower back into crescent lunge. So the right heel lifts up, step back, Vinyasa, Chaturanga, upward facing dog, inhale, downward facing dog. Lift the left heel up, three-legged dog, and step forward, warrior one. Root down a knife edge of the back foot and draw the left knee right over the left ankle. Slowly hinge forward, lift with active back foot into warrior three. See if the right thigh can be parallel to the hip on the left side. Externally rotate the standing leg. Hands come back into airplane. Root the hands into the ground. Bring the left hand onto the back ankle. Right hand's creating stability. If you want to bring the right hand back, you can as well. Now pressing the hands down, maybe round the upper back, lift the left heels and start kicking up and playing. Maybe switch leg, scissor kicks into scissor handstands. So this is your opportunity to play, even if it's just getting one foot off the ground, right? Sometimes you can lift one foot. Now bring the hands to heart center and slowly reach back with the right foot and back into crescent lunge. Chaturanga, high plank to low plank. Upward facing dog and downward facing dog. Bring your gaze in between the heels. Root down into the palms. Let the inner arches of the hands lift up as you externally rotate the front shoulders. Bring the gaze between the heels behind you. Oftentimes your drishti is key to the meditative state. Lift the right heel up, lift. We talk about breath a lot, but gaze is as important as your breath. Fingertips rise up. Bring the hands and really externally rotate that front thigh, even in crescent lunge. Hands to heart center and hinge forward. Exhale, twist. So if you have prayer hands in a bind, fantastic. But also really activate the hands and feel the collarbones broaden. The tailbone descends down towards that back heel. Then lower the left heel down, sort of parallel. Left hand rises up and start to kind of twist an extended side angle. So wherever you are in this pose, lower the left hand down, left heel rises back up, and move into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Feel the stability of the right hand, but also the energetic flow from the fingertips of the right hand all the way up into the lifted left hand. So active, like you're hanging onto a wall or a rock climbing wall. Lower the left hand down and keep the left foot lifted up. We'll rise back up into half moon. Good. It's okay if you fall down. Just get back up. No one's watching, no one's paying attention, especially if you're home. And lift back into warrior two. Humbled warrior. Windmill the left hand down, step back in Vinyasa. Chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Gaze between the back heels. Lift the fingers as you root down the palms of the hands. Left heel lifts up. Step it forward, crescent lunge. So tightest light on the back leg. Right thigh externally rotates, hands to heart center, hinge forward and rotate, twist. So press the hands together as you extend the twist. You feel the right heel lifting up but rooting down at the same time. So there's an exchange. Tailbones descending in a line towards that back heel. Left hand lifts up, back ribs lengthen through the crown as you thread the left arm under, right hand rises up, extended side angle. Fingertips hover. One side might be naturally more available to you in a pose. And then bring the right hand down. And then walk it forward, the left hand as you rise up into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Just feel the back ribs twist as the right hip opens up. Externally rotate that standing leg. And a lot of times we focus just on the lifted leg. You want those right toes kind of pointing parallel. But can you get this external rotation in that standing leg as well? So we're going to move down into a supported warrior 3. And then let's move right back into that Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. So you're creating that stability and activation in this subtle movement. It's really strength building to be able to move from one pose to another slowly and controlled. And slowly move that right hand back down, stepping the right heel back. Hands rise up into crescent lunge. Rotate the right foot, warrior 2. Inhale, humbled warrior. Exhale, windmill, the hands forward as you step back. Chaturanga, upward facing dog. Yeah, downward facing dog. Good. Step forward, chair pose. So how are you feeling with your chair? Stability, hands press into heart center, chair twist. Bring the left elbow across. So you can bring the right hand to the sacrum or keep it into prayer hands, Anjali Mudra. Lengthening. Forward fold. Try to soften and retain and reorganize your breath. Bring the peace fingers to the big toes, elbows out wide. Inhale, halfway lift. Chair pose, sit a little deeper. Hands to heart center and twist to your right. So feel the line of the spine moving forward in the space as the crown lengthens. Gorilla pose. Palms of your hands underneath the soles of your feet. And if you want to play with a little balancing of lifting and hovering the heels up, I like to massage the big toe mounts into the wrist, into the palms of the hands, and the toes into the back of the wrist. Straighten the arms, maybe bend the legs a little bit. Good. Feel the torso lengthen, release, and rise up into chair. Utkatasana, chair pose. Left hand onto the right thigh and bring the right hand around, internally rotate, and then externally rotate that shoulder as you open up. So that, I like that left forearm to come across. It kind of sometimes gives you a little more authenticity in the alignment. Maybe gives you a little bit more congruency of the hips. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, chair pose. And twist. So bringing that right forearm across, a little integrity in the alignment into the pose. Left hand internally rotates until it reaches some space into the back, and then you twist and open up the shoulder. Mountain pose. Inhale. Tadasana. Active left knee as you lift up. See if you can draw the toe to the peace fingers and extend the leg upward. So can you hug that standing leg into the center line as the crown lifts? Open up the gate. Right hand to the outer knee. And into tree pose. Can you hug the right hip down as the left thigh moves into the right foot? Inhale tall, exhale root down, lift the left knee up, hands rise up, and we're going to do a standing single leg squat. It's really not so easy. Tap the right shin down. Keep active and stable and try to come right back up. Maybe you fall, maybe you don't. Right knee rises up and then move back into Tadasana. Lift the left knee up, draw the foot to the hand, lower the left hip down, hug the right thigh inward. See if there's stability in that standing leg, maybe external rotation, rooting down to the four corners of the right foot. Open up the gate. So keep stable in the right thigh, open up the left pelvis, draw the left foot into the right thigh. Hands to heart centered, Vrikshasana, tree pose. Hands to heart center. Just see if you can bring stability and fluidity, just like a young little tree, right? The young trees that survive have the fluidity in their branches, in the roots, the trunk. So see if you can feel the fluidity and the stability of the trunk. Not just being rigid. The subtle body is the connective, smaller muscles are active. Lift the left knee to hover. See if you can squat down, single leg squat. Yeah, not so easy. And then point the foot back and lower the shin down and the hip on top of the heel. And then reverse engineer, bring the heel to the bum, lift the knee up, and then lower the left foot back down. Right knee comes back up, foot active. Good. Fan the toes. Step it back, warrior three. Super engaged with the fingertips. And this time we're going to draw the left knee behind the right, tap it down into a curtsy, warrior three. Let's do that again. Right back into warrior three. And this time cross the right foot behind the left, stacking the knife edges of the feet, forward fold for a little stretch. Good. Rise back up to mountain pose. Left knee lifts up, active left foot, hands active, step it back, warrior three. Stability in that standing leg, and then draw the left knee behind the right, a little curtsy, maybe the toes touch, maybe they don't. Yeah, move back into a little curtsy, stability. So find what works for you. Should maybe be 3 times, do that 3rd time, even though I skipped it here. We want to balance it out. And then finally, 3rd time, you cross the right foot, knife edges together, forward fold. And then move your way to your seat. Bring yourself into a pre-bridge pose. Now draw the feet up to the sky for a waterfall. Let the hips sink down. So active feet. We're going to lower the right heel down to hover. Straight. And then switch. Left heel down. Switch. Right heel. Back up. Left heel down. Right heel 3. Switch. 4. Switch. And 5. Switch. Bring it back up. 6. Continue. Switch. 7. You've got this. And switch. 8. And switch. Right heel down. 9. And left. And 10. And left. And both up to center. Draw the shins together. Hands behind the back of the knees, rock and roll forward. See if you can land into reverse tabletop. Bring the feet down to the ground, lift the hips up. Draw the shins forward as the quads are active. The collarbones are widening. Biceps are moving around, wrap externally rotation of the arms. And then slowly lower the hips down. Extend the feet in front of you, ankles glued together. Forward fold. So bring the hands to wherever they meet. It could be the shins, the ankles, it depends. We've been doing a lot of forward fold, so maybe there's a little bit more flexibility in the seated Dandasana head to toe pose. Go ahead and bring the left leg back and the right leg into your thigh for our Ardha Virasana twist. Bring the right arm across, left hand behind you. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, deepen the twist. Inhale, lengthen, tall. Exhale. Again, inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Inhale. Deepen the twist on the exhale. Draw the chin down towards the shoulder. Inhale, tall. Exhale, bring yourself back to center. Extend the right leg forward. Draw the thighs, internally rotate the thighs towards each other. Top ankles lengthen. Interlace the hands, extend them forward, and see if you can lower back into Ardha Virasana, half hero's pose. You can always bring the right foot into the ground and lift the knee up, whatever's more available for you. Doesn't matter how far back you go, it can be just seated, whatever's available. If you have a prop, you can make it more supportive. And walk yourself back up forward. And then slowly extend the left leg forward and bring the right leg back. Tops of the ankle rooted down. Try to hug the right thigh inward to the left foot. Ardha Virasana twist. Left arm comes across, right arm behind you. Inhale, lengthen tall. Exhale, deepen the twist. Just feel the bind between the right leg and the left foot. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tall. Again, feel the back of the hand. Create the bind. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Again, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. And slowly draw the left chin towards the front shoulder. Lengthening tall. And exhale, release the bind and the twist all together. Release the twist all together. Left leg comes forward. Half Virasana hero's pose. You can move backwards if it's available, or just have a seat straight down. More importantly, if you want to lift the hips up and tuck it under, give you a little more access, you can draw the left foot inward as well. Maybe you're comfortably on your elbows. Allow the collarbones to open. And then slowly move your way back upward. This is always a kind of a difficult pose, especially the first couple times doing it. Step back into plank pose and downward facing dog. Inhale, right heel rise up. Step it forward into warrior two. Inhale, straighten the right leg. Exhale, fold forward, wide leg side facing forward fold. Hands onto the outer ankles. As the inner arches lift up. Left hand place at center between the feet. Right hand twist upward. Revolving the back of the bottom back ribs towards the chest. Right hand down, left hand moves forward up towards the sky. Gaze can follow to the left thumb, the drishti. Exhale, lower back down. Rise back up. Warrior two, facing the back side. Left knee over the left ankle. And then lengthen the left leg forward, triangle. Left fingertips lower down, right hand towards the sky. So feel that right hip pull back as you externally rotate that front thigh. Good. Press the left big toe mount down. Nice. Inhale. Feel the right hip not just open up, you want it to hug back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, rise back up. And move into triangle pose. On the opposite side, right hand moves to a shin or wherever is available. Feel the back ribs, right ribs move towards the chest. Opening up, externally rotate the front thigh. Root down into the back knife edge of the foot. So let the left toes, so the left toes aren't necessarily, it doesn't have to be parallel, it could even be less than parallel, more slightly inward. Draw the right shin down, half pigeon pose. Walk down to the forearms. The crown of your head lengthen. So we get deep into this pose has always been kind of challenging for me. And you know, the rotations of the thighs make a difference, and also where you can release. It's kind of like unspoken emotion becomes tension in the body, and usually it's the screaming child syndrome where sometimes you have to redirect the sensations of it all. I want to switch sides, press back into downward facing dog. Curl the right toes under and step the left foot forward into half pigeon pose. Draw the left shin towards the front of your mat as you root down the knife edge of the left foot. Try to take the left ankle off the mat if possible. Maybe feel external rotation of the left thigh, but adducting it in as well. Notice if there's a kind of a sensation in the hip that's very familiar. I find this a challenging pose, and it really is allows me to discover where our habitual patterns of being held in the hips are. And emotionally, there's definitely things that come up from tension and sticky points in the hips, sticky hips. So take your time in this pose. Allow whatever emotions come up as they normally do. We're going to move back into Supta Baddha Konasana. One hand on your belly, one on your heart. Soles of your feet together. Draw into the breath. Good. Let the breath be welcomed into the hands. Not only into the navel center, but also full yogic breath into the heart space, to the upper lungs. Happy baby. Move the hands to the ankles is a great place to grab a happy baby, or the knife edge, depending upon your flexibility. You want to try to keep the sacrum down towards the ground, the elbows moving down towards the ground, and the knees moving down towards the ground. And then slowly move into a supported bridge pose. Feet to the ground. Allow yourself to relax a little bit and let the hips sink a little further. Draw the knees into the chest. Draw the right knee into the chest. Interlace the hands around the shin. Extend the left leg forward. And then draw the knee over to your left side for supine twist. And you can bring your gaze over to the right hand side if it's available. And try to move the knee towards the ground. You can prop it up with a block. And then slowly bring yourself back to center. Extend the right leg long. Left knee moves into the chest. Interlace the fingers around the shin. See with the bind you can mindfully press your left hip forward towards the right heel. Trying to create a little space in the lower back as you twist. Maybe tuck the shoulder blades under to give you a little more grounding in the upper body, the left arm. And if your shoulder doesn't reach the ground, you can always bring a prop like a blanket or something that you have handy. Bring yourself back to center. And we'll move into shoulder stand. It's always nice to have a couple blankets underneath the shoulders to give yourself a little bit more access to this pose. It's not an easy pose. It takes a lot of practice to try to get the body engaged more than just the arms. So can you shift the weight upward into the legs, into the activation of the legs in the core, lengthening the body upward, tucking the shoulder heads under, lengthening from the shoulders to the crown of the head. So your chin is parallel with the forehead. And then you want to move the elbows towards each other in activation to where the upper arm bones almost become the base of the pose. Tops of the shoulders with the elbows. And slowly you can move into plow or halasana. And then move into final shavasana. Extend the legs out long and wide. Let them splay out. The arms splay out. The sounds around you just kind of allow you to relax. You're not fully in shavasana as long as there's gripping in the limbs and the face. So let the arms, the legs, the face just become weighted, melt towards the earth. Drawing your awareness back into your breath. Inhale into the navel center. And then exhale, let it sigh out. Again, inhale Feel the breath draw into the navel center. Exhale, let it all out. Begin wiggling the feet, the toes, the fingers. Circle your wrists and ankles and draw the knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug and pause. Really hold it in. And slowly roll over onto your favorite side. Maybe it's the right side today. Into fetal position, allow yourself to just absorb the practice. Always give yourself time in transitions. Slowly press yourself up into your favorite version of seat, of asana, sukhasana. Inhale tall and then exhale. Bring your hands to heart center. The light and love in me honors the light below in you. Namaste.